guys, Wisteria Moon here, and today I'm coming at you all with another treat. A few weeks ago I uploaded a video called Feral, the new Animal Jam game. It was all about a new game called Feral that's being released by Wildworks, the company that made Animal Jam. In response to the attention that this video received along with the high volume of questions, I brought Wildworks CEO Clark Stacey on my channel to give us the inside scoop about the game. In this video, I'll be showing some never before seen screenshots of the game, along with tons of new leaks, so buckle up. Oh, and by the way, this is the second part of the podcast, so if you missed part 1, be sure to watch it first. The link is in the description. I also have 2 quick reminders before we get into part 2. First, be sure to check out my merch website, www.wisteriaworld.com, for some spicy Wisteria Moon merch, especially if you've been loving these Feral videos. Second is to watch the most recent video on my vlog channel, Wisteria Life, which I just uploaded. I'm always responding to comments on there, so it's worth a watch. The link to that will be in the description as well. Anyway, now let's hop right into it. So how would you describe what gameplay there is? This has like a lot of different components to it. So is it like open world? Like is there player versus player, or like player versus entity? This is like all the gamer kids that have asked me these questions, so this is what they want to know.
I don't want to tell you too much at this stage until people get a chance to get in and experience it. What I can say is that there's a lot more interaction with non-player characters that are part of the environment than in Animal Jam. There are persistent characters throughout the world that come and go, and are some that are there all the time that you'll interact with. Some are involved in storylines. There's an adventuring element to this.
Will players be able to actually, I guess, fight each other then? That was definitely something that I'm like a little curious about.
Players will be able to compete against each other. That competition will take many different forms. Let's keep it at that for now.
How will the avatar names work? Or, I don't know, I guess we're kind of naturally equating this to Animal Jam, but like, will you have an avatar that like has its own unique name, kind of like Animal Jam Animals, or will it have like a username displayed? How does that work?
You'll have a profile as a player, and you will have creatures that you create that you can name, in that way similar to Animal Jam, I guess.
Well, that sounds really cool. So does that mean that you can like switch between them like you can in Animal Jam?
Yes, there's some unique aspects to that too, but I think the short answer is yes, you will be able to have multiple characters that you create on one user account, one login or profile. This
might be one that we might not be able to know yet, but how many different avatars will there be? And like, maybe do you have one that you could maybe reveal to us by any chance?
We have this internal thread here where we just kind of share cool new stuff we've made in Feral. This is the people who work here, right? They've just generated some completely wild new character, and we exchange those around the studio every day, because the character creator here has so much depth and so much power to it that you can start with, you know, one animal, the kitsune, and have something that just looks completely wild, completely different, and have it be completely unique to you too. You know, when you create a look in Feral, it really is your look, and I guess somebody else could go and try to replicate it exactly, but really it's kind of your baby. I'll show you some examples of those. I'll send you some images that kind of give you an example of how far different animals could go. As with Animal Jam, there will be a lot of different base animals as the game grows. The difference here is that we're taking as our inspiration mythologies from a lot of different cultures all over the world. It's not just going to be the mythological animals that you're familiar with from Greek mythology or Norse mythology. We're drawing from everywhere in the world.
That's really cool to hear, because that just brings so much diversity, and I love that. How does the customization work exactly? Like, can you choose any color on the color spectrum? Like, I know there's supposed to be appendages, so like, can you put an unlimited number on?
I mean, I'll give you some examples without being exhaustive about it, but you can stretch and deform limbs. You can control different size and proportions of an animal, and you can go in and with a Photoshop-like color wheel, you can get very precise and specific about the colors that you're selecting for different things. A lot of the trading and accessories and things like that in Feral that drive a lot of interaction in Animal Jam. Here, there are things that you craft yourself. As you play the game, you'll find, I guess, kind of recipes for crafting different things and maybe nobody's discovered yet, or you'll find ways to tweak it in a way that nobody has and create an item that's unique and nobody else has one just like it. In Feral, you might be trading for things of which only one exists and ever will.
That is honestly so cool. Oh, I'm like excited just thinking about it. I guess you kind of touched upon this a little bit, but the item crafting situation, how does that work? Like, do you find items just in your world, like through quests, or do you find them through hunting? Can you trade those items once you craft them?
You can trade items as you craft them, and you will gather materials out in the world and find materials. You'll come to master different paths of spell casting, find different ways, magical ways to use items in the environment to create or enhance an object that you've crafted. What separates the necklace that you've made from somebody else's is that yours might have this ethereal glow around it when it's in the presence of a certain animal. Yours is the only one that does that, and it does that because of a spell that you put on it.
Will there be trading posts? Because I thought I heard from somewhere that there would be, but I'm not sure if that's the case.
Well, I guess I'll put it this way. We won't wait for the community to design it for us the way that they did in Animal Jam. The trading at the launch of Feral will be much more robust and easy to use, and we will be learning the lessons that we learned that the community taught us in Animal Jam.
Okay, this is kind of like two little questions. Will there be in-game currency, and can you also like undo item craft spells? I guess maybe they weren't that related now that I think about it, but
there's a couple of really cool things that we're doing with Feral that I don't think anybody has done before, but I'm not ready to tell you about them just yet. One of them is related to currency and how that works in the game. But yes, there are forms of currency in the game. What was the other little question?
Can you like undo enchantments and spells?
Yeah, there are some that are temporary and there's some that can be reversed, yeah.
Will there be custom dens and den items?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Beyond anything that we've ever even conceived in Animal Jam.
My like den decoration skills are like gonna go off the charts with this.
We want this to be a place where you can create amazing environments that you can share in your social media, that you can shoot videos in, that you can inhabit as a character. We want you to be able to set up scenes in Feral that you couldn't create or you couldn't film or photograph anywhere else. The environments that you'll be creating, as with the characters that you'll be creating, are very far beyond anything that we even attempted in Animal Jam.
That's literally so exciting. Oh. Can you teleport across the map?
The way that the environment is constructed in Feral is a little different. There are centerpiece locations, what you might think of as a bubble and straw level design, where there are places that are kind of natural gathering places, cities, trading areas, and then there's what we call the expanse. And the expanse is unpredictable. It changes. It might not be the same the second time that you walk through the same path to town. So there are ways to get around faster in the world, but what happens to you in the expanse is kind of an adventure in and of itself. You won't just be jumping from place to place necessarily.
Can you make art or masterpieces? Oh
yes. I mean, that is still one of the things that I love the most about Animal Jam, is seeing all the amazing stuff that people make out of it.
I feel like that really transformed the Animal Jam community personally. Like, I remember when Masterpieces came out, oh my gosh, everyone was so excited about it.
I don't know if people realize how many masterpieces go through Animal Jam every day, but we will see days of 25 or 30,000 masterpieces coming through Animal Jam in a day.
That's literally insane. Will there be seasonal items and celebrations?
This is a a dynamic living world that will change and that does have its own festivals, I guess you would say. And because it's a reality show for mythological animals, it has events taking place in the world all the time that are being staged by the factions that have created this world, this entertainment. So yes, the live operations of the world are not static. It will change seasonally, and it will change with holidays.
I don't know if I misinterpreted this before, but when I was watching your last podcast, did you mention the possibility of making like a younger version of Animal Jam?
Think about it this way. So we have this demographic in Animal Jam where our core audience there is 8 to 12, sweet spot 9 to 12. Now we're coming out with a completely new property that extends that demographic older. So now we're looking at it as from 8 to early 20s, right, with Animal Jam into Feral. What makes sense after that is to go younger as well. So the next property coming after Feral, is looking at where are kids going to be before they age into Animal Jam, and Feral is where they're going to be after.
I think that's really cool. So then you can have like ways to transition your audience over time.
You know, Feral doesn't have all of the, I guess, the educational DNA that Animal Jam has in it. There are other new properties that we're working on that do, and that are a little bit younger focused than Animal Jam is.
So I guess my last question for you is just kind of more of an open-ended thing, kind of getting into what you're most excited for about Feral, and like if there's any other little like things you want to like hint at, especially for the podcast.
There are a couple of features that are super cool that I can't really go into detail with you yet, but I will say that Feral will tie into your other social media accounts in ways that no game ever has, and I think that are really cool and of genuine benefit to users. It's artistically, I think I've never seen anything quite like it. And the problem that we have now, if anything, is that there are so many ideas going around for where it can go next and how it can grow and what the next things are you'll be able to do in it. Yeah, it's making sure that what we deliver at the end of this year is a focused and comprehensible experience, and that it's enough for people to get in and become engaged with the world, because they're just amazing directions that we're going to take it after that. I
honestly appreciate all of these answers so much, because I think it actually helped to like answer a lot of questions that we've all had about the game, just like as we've been hearing about it and getting these little leaks here and there. So that's just so cool. It sounds like there's so much potential with this game, and that's kind of why I want to start talking about it earlier rather than later.
It's exciting. It really is. I'm really excited for people to play it. I'm especially excited for people like you who've played Animal Jam for a long time to play it. But I've also heard from a lot of Animal Jam players that are worried this means we're taking our focus off of Animal Jam, or they're worried that, you know, because Flash is sunsetting next year, that Animal Jam's going away. Or this is not like that at all. The focus will still be on Animal Jam. I want Animal Jam to be around when your kids are old enough to play it.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'd love to see how it changes.
Yeah, and even with Flash, that doesn't mean that community is going away or that game is ending. There are ways for us to keep playing Animal Jam and keep serving Animal Jam, no matter what they do to Flash. So we got this. Don't worry about it. And Animal Jam will still be there, and it will still be growing, new features, new animals, new everything. The difference will be that now there'll be some place where if you start feeling like there's stuff that I want to do in Animal Jam or that I can't, then there's a place for you to go that is still that kind of tight-knit community of people who really love creativity and self-expression. There's not as many rules, and you can be a little more feral.
Well, that is literally so cool. I'm going to have to wrap this up because somehow my computer's dying even though it's plugged in.
This is very taxing on your computer, I can tell.
For sure, but thank you so much for doing this interview with me. It was literally So cool to be able to like hear this from your perspective. Like honestly, I'm just thrilled about everything that's been going on. It's so cool. So
it is so good to talk to you, and I really think you're going to love this game. I can't wait for you to play it, for other Animal Jam players to play it. It's some of the most beautiful stuff that we've ever done.
Well, folks, the Feral Podcast is officially a wrap. I'd like to give a huge thank you to Clark Stacey for coming onto my channel to talk about the game, because it's definitely clarified a ton of points for the Feral fanbase. Be sure to follow him on Twitter for more Feral updates. The link will be in the description. You'll also find the link to Feral's website, Part 1, my merch, and recent vlog there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the series. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!